I'm all ready though, to be fair, 'cause I've got my...
So is this recording?
This is recording, yeah.
Okay, so from now. So you didn't charge the batteries.
Which batteries?
These, because they're flashing.
Yeah.
Then
Camera's dying.
the camera's dying.
Yeah.
You hadn't tested if the microphones work.
Correct. They do, though.
Should I just go home?
Probably.
Okay.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Welcome to episode 9 of Casual Mode, your weekly jaunt into the news and happenings of the world we are interested in. I'm Dan, and after complaints about last week's episode, I'm with Carl.
You just said episode 9, but it's episode 10.
Welcome to episode 10 of Casual Mode, your weekly jaunt into the news and happenings of the world we're interested in. I am Dan, and after complaints about last week's episode's opening, I'm with Carl. There. Are you happy? Hi, Carl.
Hi, Dan. Just like to say thank you for such a warm welcome. I feel appreciated. This is a nice feeling.
Good.
Only took 10 of my evenings to feel part of the team. That's all you want, really. You know, just regular checkups, one-to-ones.
Yeah, okay. If that's how you feel. I mean, don't get used to it. Fodzilla. What are you drinking? What have you got?
I've got a lovely glass of water in a Liverpool... Oh, you can't see, can you? Because it's gone blurry there. In a Liverpool off-themed... I don't know what you call it, off-brand cup.
I don't know if it's off-brand. Must be a very good friend. Got you that.
Yeah.
I reckon so.
Colleague.
Someone that actually...
Work friends.
Someone that... Colleagues. What do you think about the weekend match then? Sunday, 4:30?
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Yeah. I mean... I think it's the start of a difficult period for us as a club. We've got a lot of difficult games coming up. We don't have Alisson. Trent's probably going to be. He's having his head turned by Real Madrid, so his defending's going to be even worse than normal. But no, I mean, to be fair, rock and roll, innit? This is what happens when you're at the top of the league. Like you've just got to play every game. You've got to win every game. So. Whatever. How are you feeling about it?
To be fair, we've got nothing to lose. So, I think
you could lose the prospect of getting 3 points.
We could do that, but that's factual, isn't it, for football? I think the biggest pressure that we've got at the moment is to try and facilitate the successes that we've had at the start of the season and make sure that we don't lose the run of form. And it does feel like Maresca's got the right type of temperament to manage a coach a group of kids, which I'm pretty happy about. So
the right touch.
He's a baldy in it. He's a baldy, but he knows what he's doing in terms of man management, squad management. He seems to handle the press really well. Anything that seems to blow up, he seems to put a bit of a dampener on it. And we haven't really had. Well, I know we had City early, but we haven't really had a proper test in 4 or 5 game weeks. So yeah, be good.
Yeah, I mean it'll be a big game.
You've got injuries, haven't you?
Alisson.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, Queeve Kelleher is a good understudy. So I like Queeve. I think in terms of a backup keeper, he's probably good enough to be Queeve Kelleher, I think his name is.
Queeve. Okay.
Not Queef. Slightly different word with different connotations. More connotations, different meanings. But yeah.
Affectionately named after your aunt. She loved one.
Will you leave my family alone?
No, not your aunt. I don't know. I can't comment.
She's a lovely lady.
She's a lovely lady. Bit gassy though.
Bit gassy.
Bit windy.
Overflatulent.
Loves
well, they both live in the Windy City, so there we go.
There we go. Then. Yeah. That's it. You'd never know. But yeah, I mean, if you'd say, would you take a draw right now? I'd probably say no. based on the form that we're in. I think this is the best opportunity we've got to beat you at Anfield in best part of 5 years.
Is it Anfield?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
There you go. Try and get tickets.
To be honest, I'd rather wait until like a big match.
Oh, hey. What's wrong with you?
Lots.
Like,
Bodies falling apart.
turn into a horse. That was quite good, actually.
No. I used to go to Tamashanta Farm as a kid.
What, to pretend to be a horse? Anyway, thank you for joining us on this podcast episode. We're very, very quickly just intervening your wonderful listening experience, just to say, if you wouldn't mind, please pop over to Spotify and give us a nice review. Alternatively, if you wouldn't mind giving us a subscribe and like over on YouTube, share it with your friends, pop it on in your car, when you're taking the lads to football. Maybe just, I don't know, just say, oh, there's that casual mode. I get that on a Friday. It's a laugh. Yeah? Yeah? Go on. Crack on. Bye. Anyway, so you've got a topic that you wanted to jump into that you've done a lot of preparation for. Yeah.
So, although we discussed the idea of doing like little like feature episodes, and then
we're going to do it in person, but you forgot to fucking.
So we were going to do it in person, and
charge everything
for those wondering why 5 minutes ago we were in a different location, because I'll be honest, until you just said that, I forgot you were even here yesterday.
Okay, thank you.
Not that you're forgettable.
You charmer. You've charmed me.
Oh, you've charmed me. You've got the job. So yeah, you came over yesterday. We were testing our recording setup with my professional camera, and because I'm.
Can you not
smart.
Make it sound like I came round to yours to like have a go on the casting couch, please? Like we sat outside, and we were planning on recording the podcast.
We had the
Obviously, that fell through. Huh?
We had the heaters on.
We had the heaters on.
Yeah, it was romantic.
I was comfortable. Yeah. So that fell through, but it's just because we've been testing out the EGX gear, and we wanted to see whether or not the Rode wireless Go-To could hook up to Carl's camera, and it can. But
it can.
Neither the camera nor the wireless Rode Go-Tos were charged adequately. So yeah, would have been a very short podcast.
None of my three batteries were charged. But it was a good test. We proved it worked.
We did.
So you've got to take the bad with the good, or
the
be
rough
okay
with
the bad. Oh yeah, the rough with the smooth.
Yeah. So rough and smooth, acceptable, not acceptable, legal and illegal.
Where are we going?
I don't know. We're going on. We're talking about emulation as the thing that you wanted to go through. So I kind of I pitched that we should think about specific topics now and again, just to kind of cover off. It's not really a big news week. There's not a lot going on. We've got a couple of things to cover off in a bit, but we'll get to that before we finish. But ultimately, what we wanted to jump straight into is emulation, and we had a couple of different jumping off points that Carl's kindly put together with his own brain.
Definitely.
And a little sprinkling of GPT, only a little bit. But we also went to our friendly WhatsApp group, so the old Cross Players WhatsApp group, and we asked a couple of the guys in there as well, just to give us their thoughts. So we will thank them as we go through. Will we not, Carl?
Yes.
Okay. So, talking point 1, reliving childhood games. You crack on with this, because I think you're the person that's been digging around your parents' attic grandparents' attic, was it?
Correct, because I come from
grandparents' attic.
A 3-generation household as a youngster.
So they are Carl's. He's not just going there to thieve, abuse the elderly.
Yeah.
You've been picking up games, I think, for the last, year, and then also Pokemon cards and an assortment of other treasures. So why don't you start from there?
Yeah. So my first console was technically Sega Mega Drive 2. But that was like a hand me down. The first one that was actually bought for me was a Nintendo 64, which I have to this day, and it's up on my shelf being unused.
Do you remember playing it for the first time?
I remember having to scan on the old TV because it's got like the RF input for TVs. So that every time I couldn't save it because I didn't have a remote for that TV. So I had to use like the little flap on the front of the TV to go into like all the different settings. I had to learn as a 4-year-old child how to get the scanner up for the RF frequencies, scan all the way over to it, hope the connection was in good enough. Otherwise, it would just go past it and I'd have to come back. So
and
yeah,
eventually you learned how to harness your brain power.
And work IT. Yeah. So yeah, no, I remember playing it, and I used to play like international superstar soccer. Michael Owen, 2000, what it was called. I had Pokemon Stadium. I had the guide for Pokemon Snap, but not Pokemon Snap. 1080 snowboarding. That was a fun one. I had Zelda, which I've still got my childhood Zelda cartridge, and it still works. Ocarina Time, yeah. I never had the expansion. I think Majora's Mask had to have the expansion port thing that goes in the front for the extra memory.
You never had that?
I didn't have that.
So you never played, was it Rogue Squadron?
Donkey Kong got it as well. Perfect Dark, I think Perfect Dark.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
I think that needed it. Yeah, I didn't play that either. I played Pod Racer.
That was a good game.
That was a good game. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. I bought that again when I was drunk one night, and I bought £200 worth of Nintendo 64 games off CEX.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
They look good. I like that. I've got all my old and sometimes on calls in work, like people see like the driving thing behind me, and they go, "Ooh, are you into games?" And I go, "Ooh, look at my 3D printed Nintendo 64 holder. Ooh, look at all my games."
Are you into giant boxes?
Well, yeah, that's from my new ultra wide monitor that I bought this week, which is definitely the purchase of the week.
We'll talk about that in a bit.
Can do. But so yeah, in terms of nostalgia, I would say that yeah, I get that deep sense of nostalgia when I play those old games. You know, Game Boy. I used to have Mario Golf on the old Game Boy Color, which again, both my Game Boy Colors just sat there next to me from my childhood as well. I've got Mario Golf in one of them. So yeah, I love all that stuff. But in terms of like emulation, when the idea that I've got like that one device in my hand, and I've got like that, or like the array of games that I used to play when I was younger, I really like that too, because it's quite empowering that you can just do what you want with any of those games wherever you are, and not have to lumber.
That was the part of nostalgia that's the part of emulation that really appeals to me. And when we were kids, well, I say we, but I don't know if you had this generation, but where if you wanted to get another game, you either had to wait for your birthday or Christmas, or you had to borrow one off a friend, or maybe you had to rent one out over the weekend, you know, and go to like the video store or whatever to come and get one. Like, the accessibility of games was really restricted because, again, you know, parents having money and you not having disposable cash, being young, like you could only play so many games. Like, I was quite fortunate. My nan worked in a charity shop, so quite often there'd be, I don't know, different NES games or SNES games that get brought in, even Commodore 64 games, weirdly. Really show my age. And she would bring whatever she got home, and we got like some decent games, to be fair. I think we had like Jurassic Park on the SNES and Earthworm Jim, and I think it was Mickey Mania. They all came from charity shop finds in the Roy Castle shop. True story. Ken Barlow once went in there canvassing for Labour, and my nan made him buy something for a vote, which I was quite proud of.
Nice.
So there we go. Ken Barlow got what he was coming to.
That was a very expensive penny sweet.
Really was. I don't think they sold those in the charity shop, but either way, he had to buy something. He went out with a woman's garment. So yeah, the emulation side of things with nostalgia, I get it. I think more it's just the plethora of different games that you can get. Yeah. That's the part. It's like, wow, like I've got all of the games that I really wanted when I was younger. The ones that I never was able to play because I might have read about them in a magazine and you could never find them anywhere. Because that's another thing that people don't talk about. Like, you couldn't just go and find a game. It was bloody difficult. Like, you'd be quite lucky if you found it in HMV. If you didn't have HMV, you might have EB, or like if it was Game, if you're a bit older, or Game Station if you're a bit younger as well. So there's different variant. But if that game just wasn't in stock, like the internet wasn't that prominent at that point where you could go and just get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. I totally get having all of that stuff at your fingertips. It's definitely worth it.
I think as well, like going back when you mentioned about like how you'd only get games a certain like time periods, that you'd only play them for like a week, whatever. You have to give them back to like, I don't know, like a Blockbuster kind of shop. I can't remember what it used to be back in the day. Or like, yeah, you swap with your friend. I think I did that. I borrowed Abe's Oddworld off a friend. When I think it was on PS2, maybe.
Abe's Odyssey.
Yeah, one of them.
Oddworld or Odyssey. I don't know which one's which.
I think it was a PlayStation 1 game, but I had a PS2, so they were backwards compatible. But yeah, because this is not something that's not been said before, but because it was so infrequent when you got those games, like you really like treasured those experiences. Like an Ocarina of Time now, obviously no one's going to play it, but that's possibly because you've got an abundance of games that you could just get on Steam, and you've got that ever increasing backlog, and you're never going to get to all of them, and there's like a constant dopamine hit of the new thing that comes. Whereas back then it was just like, I've got this game and I'm gonna have to grind it out. I'm gonna read like the game guide to try and work out how to get past this boss, or get through this temple. Which as like a 4-year-old on Zelda, I mean, I could probably barely read. I could barely afford vitamins in those days. I was withered away. Not true, but yeah, I just think those experiences were so much more impactful because like you had like that one hit and you had to really make it count. I used to love that.
Yeah, I think they're impactful. I think impact versus where they better games is an interesting topic. We're kind of jumping into the second point here, where old games versus new
Phil and
games.
Mark said that.
Yeah, they did. So they said old games aren't as good as new games.
Yeah.
So I think I agree. However, it's like the Breath of the Wild versus Tears of the Kingdom comparison. It's like got two columns, both the games in each of them, one of the games in each of those columns, and then you go, okay, well, which one's got the better game mechanics? It'd be Tears of the Kingdom. Which one's more fun to play? Tears of the Kingdom. Which one's got a better story? Tears of the Kingdom. Which one's better in every conceivable aspect? Tears of the Kingdom. Which one's your favourite? Breath of the Wild. Like, it's just where that game hit at that point. Similar to like Animal Crossing, like right at the start of COVID, like a game I never normally would have played, but it hit at such an important point. It became culturally relevant to me, as well as like hundreds of thousands of other people that wanted to play it at that point too. Who had fuck all else to do. So I think when you go back to like the old game argument, it's like, could I ever say that GoldenEye is better than like Valorant or any other first person shooter that I play now? Absolutely not. But to me, is it a better game? 100%. 100% a better game. Could I go back and play it now without, very, I suppose, recency bias towards how modern game mechanics work and graphics are? No, I struggle.
Yeah.
And if anything, it taints the experience for me. To go back and see Alex Trevelyan with a massive blockhead, like as if he's just like being wrapped around some sort of cuboid. Like, it's disgusting. Like fucking Crichton off Red Dwarf.
Do you know what though? So I think, okay, so let's say Valorant, which is I think we played it. No, we didn't play that. We played Paladins.
No, we played Valorant for quite a while. We did.
Oh.
During COVID, we did. I had blonde hair, bleach blonde hair.
Oh dear. Well, yeah, people did crazy things during COVID. So why couldn't you just become an alcoholic like everybody else, Dan? God damn. Pesky Dan. But yeah, I mean, so okay, stuck in COVID, Valorant. Yeah, I can see why. But I bet you, let's say we had four people came over here having a few beers, and I turned around and went, should we get the N64 out and play like Super Mario, Mario Kart? Let's say Mario Kart 64. Should we play that instead? Split screen like the old days. Would you not prefer that? Admittedly, it'd be hard to play Valorant with 4 people in one house because it'd be like.
Is it? I mean, I'm just trying to look down the list actually to see if we're going to talk about this, but I don't think there is. I think on a CRT, playing GoldenEye makes sense, and I don't know, you get that hit of nostalgia from playing it in that way. I think if you're playing it on a 4K decent LG television and it's crisp, or as crisp as it can be, it's not displayed in the way that you remember, and the controller might not. I don't know. Like, it's hard to go back to an N64 controller.
It's not the best, is it? It's not the most ergonomic.
At the time, it was like awesome. Like, I used to love that thing, and I had as many different colors of the controller as I could do. But again, like, looking back and kind of going, is that something that you really want to? I don't know. It's tough to say. It's tough because would I enjoy it? Yeah, 100%. But would it take me a while to get into it? Definitely. Would I be stupidly frustrated when somebody's like throwing sticky mines all over me and I can't remember how to do it? I was karate chopping people because I can't get to the RCP90 quick enough. Yeah, like all of those things, yes, 100%. But I love those games, and I think it's just tough to kind of go back.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I don't know. So you've written about the ethical considerations in it.
Yeah.
So Mark and Phil pretty much said so they don't feel any guilt replaying games they'd already bought, particularly when they're not easy to access anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I think the majority of the games that people emulate are really difficult or tricky to buy or come at a premium to buy as well. So
as we learned this weekend, looking at the Legend of Dragoon on PS1,
yeah,
£110.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I get it because obviously that game wasn't released in a mass quantity, but is it a really good game
as well? I remember playing that and Zone of the Enders on a PS2 demo disc from like one of the magazines. So I think it was a good game, but
okay,
I wouldn't pay 110 quid for it, even if it's got 4 CDs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But are there any games that you pay that for?
Yeah, Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Bad example. You're not buying a special edition of that, though, are you?
It's true.
Coward.
Absolutely not.
Look, I think if you've had that, I've got no problem at all with emulation, even for games that I haven't owned. And as long as there's let's say a time period that you're actually getting those games from, I don't think there should be a problem with that. Because again, if that game is no longer making a profit for the people that created that game and published it, I just don't see the point. I don't see how it's damaging it at all.
It feels like a victimless crime.
Yeah. If you are choosing, and this is topical, and I'm curious to know your thoughts on this. If you are choosing to emulate something that is recent, that you can still purchase, that if you were to go and choose to buy that game brand new, and it is quote unquote off the shelf, that money will go directly into the creator's hands or creator's pockets. Yeah, then I've got an issue with that. I don't think that's fair. But what are your thoughts, Carl?
I think I agree. I think ethically it's not the best, really. I think the original point you made there about games that you can't buy anymore, like honestly, if they're not like look at the Wii U, so they disabled the shop on there, the 3DS, the eShops is no longer available. So the only way you can buy games is if you get them from like a CEX, I guess.
I'm saying that's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that's okay. In my eyes, I think that's fine. And if there's a game on there that you're going to struggle to get, like Pokemon Yellow, I don't think that's a problem with emulating that.
I've got that. Again,
I bought that game in the past, and I've got different variations of that same game anyway. But even if I didn't own it, I wouldn't have an issue with it because again, there's not sealed copies out there that are still on the shelf. Whereas if you're choosing to emulate like Tears of the Kingdom, as a good example, and you haven't purchased that game, like that does cross the line.
Yeah.
But I have done that as well in the past, and I do think I had a version of Pokemon on floppy disk.
Floppy disk?
On a floppy disk, yeah. One of my friends in school gave me it, and he was like, "That's the new Pokemon game," because we'd all been playing Red and Blue, and obviously Yellow hadn't come out yet. I think it took a while for it to come out, and it was like the US version of it, and he gave it on a floppy disk, and it was emulated, so I had to boot it up onto my PC and play it.
Wow. Okay.
So I remember doing that, and I remember that feeling fine and not really caring at all because I wasn't really aware of the ethics around it. But now, yeah, I'd struggle with that.
I think the statute of limitations has probably expired on that, so you're fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're not
Yeah,
coming
I
for
mean,
you.
like,
You're okay.
thank
They
you.
are very litigious, Nintendo, but you're probably okay.
Yeah, but even then, like, you're admitting something that I think if you're an early adopter of computer games, I think the probability that you've emulated at some point is pretty high.
Oh
I
god, yeah.
doubt there's anyone there that's staunchly saying this is wrong and you shouldn't do it.
Hmm.
And I'm also, I think people, it's like it's like most modern or most historic plays and publications. Again, it gets to a certain point when that becomes,
Public
you know,
domain.
yeah, exactly, public domain. So why wouldn't games fall into that same bracket or that same context? You know, it's a creative item.
Yeah.
It's like movies and television. Again, you know, if I can't go and get Max and Paddy Phoenix Nights and I'm choosing to go and buy a secondhand copy, if I wanted to torrent that, I don't think there's an issue. I don't think Peter Kay is going to care because he's already made his money off it, and I don't think
Yeah.
there's copies out there. He's not brought it out on Blu-ray or a 4K 4K disc. He literally is choosing to
Peter
probably
4K.
flog that on iTunes, and that's it. So I don't know. Do I have an
Okay.
issue with it? Probably not.
I think I agree. Especially, I think it's a key point. I mean, active consoles, that's naughty. That is naughty. But as soon as something is no longer kind of being serviced by the manufacturer, it's almost like abandonware at that stage, isn't it? So, like, what are you supposed to do? And in some ways, actually, it might help feed like future sales for them. So, like, if somebody goes back and starts playing one of the older games and falls in love with it, wants more of it, they could then go and use that passion that they generate and then go and buy the latest, greatest version of that game.
Yeah. Well, it looks like jumping ahead onto the emulating active consoles and retired systems. It looks like both Phil and Mark agree as well. I think one thing that I'm interested in your take on is like the wave of, we'll call it new tech coming out that allows you to play older games. Because I think quite topically, there's been a new, what's the name of the brand?
There's many brands.
The N64.
The analog 64 one. It looked like,
Yeah.
so I looked into that before. It looks like it was announced 11 months ago, but then I saw a video today where the guy was saying like, "Oh, this is being released now."
There you go.
So yeah.
But just the ability to go and play older games, but on newer tech.
So that's not emulation.
No, it's not. But it's still like, again, playing and accessing those old games.
Yeah.
Like if you got them there and you want to play them in a more not efficient way, but a more high fidelity way.
In some ways, it is. It's always because I don't know if it's just literally just upscale it to 4K or does anything special alongside that. I mean, for 220, 250 pound, whatever it is, you'd hope it does something. But it outputs to 4K, which is nice because if I wanted to use my N64 in 4K, I'd have to get a pretty beefy upscaler. I think the one that I've got does like 1080p, and that was 50 quid. So
yeah. Speaking of money, so both Mark and Phil again said these days if they get the nostalgia hit, they tend to use NSO, so Nintendo Switch Online. I mean, I don't mind the emulation or the games that are offered through that. I think it just feels boring and a bit of a money grab. I don't know what you think.
I do feel like it's a bit of a money grab because like if they're closing down the avenues of buying stuff because they're not producing it anymore, but then bring out like a subscription service and then those games become available on there. I mean, I guess they're monetizing their own IP. Actually, that's probably fair game from their perspective.
We do it every generation as well.
Yeah. To be honest, I've not actually gone. My Switch, I haven't turned on for a while. I haven't seen the latest games that they're allowed on there.
I mean, last time I checked, it's like a decent amount of games on there now that you get for, I think it's the cheapest of subscriptions as well. You know, when you compare it to most of the major platforms, it's only a couple of quid a month.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's not
some
bad,
absolute
is it?
cracking games. What, sorry?
It's not bad, that is it?
No, not really. If you want to do it ethically and properly, then yeah, that's probably the best option.
Yeah.
So next part we said was systems explored through emulation. So do you want to cover this one off? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So I think Phil was looking at some of the systems that he used when he was younger. So I think he mentioned that he used like the Commodore 64, SNES, Mega Drive. Again, indicative of his ever increasing years.
Poor guys.
Uh, yeah, but I think this harks back to that nostalgia here, like, and they're going back to what they used when Phil was middle aged already. To be fair, but sorry, Phil. But like to be fair, like the snares Commodore, you see those on lots of like emulation devices and products. Like they are supported massively. The games archive that you can tap into is incredible. And there's probably games that since what you said before, like it's games that maybe that you wanted at the time, which you didn't actually manage to acquire. He can go back. He can almost transport himself back in time and enjoy those games for the first time, perhaps. And I think that's nice.
Yeah. So I think in terms of emulation, what I've found is I enjoy playing the games that I said before that I wasn't able to play when I was younger, but wanted to. I would say there's a little bit of a cut-off in terms of consoles that I actually enjoy playing emulated games from.
Okay.
So I don't really like playing N64 games. Obviously, DS games are tricky to emulate because you haven't got two screens, commonly, so that tends to be a bit clunky to play. GameCube games, again, finding a machine that's capable enough of doing that. If you've got a Steam Deck, wonderful. You probably emulate what the fuck you want. Whereas, if you want to go and buy a specific emulation machine, it's quite tricky, and you have to pay upwards of, keep me honest, Carl, about 150 quid probably to do that.
I think PS2 definitely. You're looking at that. I think GameCube as well is one of the heavier ones to emulate. I think it's a Dolphin.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a Dolphin emulator that does that.
But there's options as well if you want to actually go and buy one of those old consoles and then get it chipped in a certain way so that you can boot up a load of games on it and just do it in that way, which again I don't find an issue with because it's a console that it's been resold several times over, more than likely. So if you like SNES for an example, I know quite a few people have modded their Dreamcast as well, to be able to go and play thousands of games on it that were released on the Dreamcast. So if you choose to go and do that, as long as you I suppose spending the right amount of money to do it and you're not bankrupting yourself, then I don't really see an issue with it either.
And I said it before, it's like it almost feels like a victimless crime. That like if somebody buys a Wii U, you can't buy those games unless you buy them secondhand.
Yeah. But then the benefit of doing that, if it is the original console and having like the original controller, plugging it into a telly, if you want to go and buy a CRT and have that real legitimate experience. Again, the kick out of having a SNES or a PlayStation or a PlayStation 2 with a chipped console with thousands of games accessible through it actually feels more appealing to me than buying something with just a SIM card, a SD card plugged into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe that's the thing we look at next.
It's a bit more truthful, isn't it? Like there's something.
It's a bit more grounded to it.
Yeah, there's probably something about two people from the Liverpool area talking about chipped games consoles, because I reckon back when I was growing up, like, having a chipped PS2 was the in thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, my cousins had a chipped PS2 and a PS1 as well. And actually they went away to Florida, and I borrowed their PS2 just to play Final Fantasy VIII, and that was the first, I think, properly chipped emulated game that I think I've ever played. Well, it wasn't emulated really, but like that was the first kind of illegal game that I think I'd ever played, and that was my first Final Fantasy game, so going through that was absolutely brilliant. Okay, so we kind of popped on here like the shift away from emulation. So I think both Mark and Phil said again, Nintendo Switch Online tends to be where they get their hit from. What's your go-to at this point? You said you had props.
I do have props. So I don't know. I mean, I've been trying to kind of work on my Steam Deck library. So I've managed to get all of the GameCube games I used to have. I've got all the N64. All the N64 cartridges I got up there, I've got all of those now on there, so I can play them when I'm at home, or I can play them when I'm away. Same with the GameCube one. The Game Boy games. But I've also almost like an inexpensive alternative, and I think this demonstrates like the low bar to entry. My old phone, this is my Chinese. It's a Huawei Mate 20 Pro or something.
I don't take drugs, but carry on.
Like they can hear what you've just said. So
Yeah, they can see all your nudes as well that are on there.
oh,
A tiny little woodpecker.
how dare you? That's the camera's not. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, at the moment I've got PlayStation 2,
Nice.
2 Towers on there, and it runs great.
Bum.
Thank you. But like that's an old phone, so basically not being used anymore. And I got the Razer Kishi for it, which I think I got on eBay for like 30 quid. So for 30 quid, I can load all games up to PS2 on there, which is so effectively it's replacing a £150 system. So it's just really accessible, and like the software that's available now on Android is really kind of feature rich. It's quite mature. So I mean, it's just great fun, and it's just nice that you can kind of reuse that old technology, which doesn't become like abandoned anymore.
Kind of like recycling.
It is like it is. But yeah, no, I think the Steam Deck is the superior method for that. It's just so powerful, and I don't think there's anything you can't throw at it that it can't run. So,
do you actually play it?
Play which?
The games.
Yeah.
Or do you get more of a kick out of the boot up of it and actually being able to do it from a technical standpoint? You know, to be able to install the DOS and the ROMs, and install the software and make sure it works effectively. You know, what's the thing that you get the kick out of?
Playing the games.
Okay.
I mean, set up and configuring systems on a Linux device, especially when the guides are so easy these days. It's what I do with my job back then.
The emulation apps are now allowed, aren't they, on iOS? Because I remember there's quite a prominent one on there. I think it might just be called iROM now, but
right.
I
don't think there's anything legally wrong with those emulation apps. I think the problem is that the ROMs that people load on there, that's the bone of contention, because if that's copyrighted information, then if I don't have the physical, I mean, I could be wrong here, but my understanding was if you got the physical, if you got a physical copy of it, then you're allowed to do it.
Okay, there we go.
That was my impression.
Stick to it then. There we go.
Yeah, but ignorance of the law is not a defence.
Preach. That's what Diddy said.
Oh God.
So in terms of just the games that you're emulating, so is Lord of the Rings, is that a particularly nostalgic hit for you? Or
yeah, what a game that is.
Yeah,
Two Towers, Return of the King, they were amazing. I mean, even now, like when I've played it a few times over the past couple of days, just when I get like half an hour here or there, like it's still really good. Like genuinely, it's still really good. It's not.
It kind of holds it. Yeah, it's that Misu kind of style, isn't it? Where it's loads of enemies coming at you, hack and slash. Yeah, classic. And then you get a troll now and again.
Exactly.
It's like, oh shit. Yeah.
Well, like when I was I don't know 10, 12 when I played it, you know, I couldn't do more than hack and slash. I still can't, if I'm being honest. I can barely get past it, but yeah, it's good. Good fun.
Mm-hmm. Any plans to go and buy a dedicated emulation machine?
No, I don't need to, because the Steam Deck's brilliant at it. I can even on my Switch, because I've got custom firmware on the Switch, so I can run emulators for other devices on the Switch. So I've literally got like 3 or 4 now handhelds that I can just go, oh, you know what, I fancy that today, and I'll take that with me instead, it's great.
Have you finished any emulated games?
No.
Yeah. One thing as well. Like, never feel appealed to go and like complete a game.
Well, I didn't complete them back in the day, so it would be a bit rich of me to break that tradition now.
Imagine if you did. That'd be it.
Zelda.
Take that, younger Carl.
I remember when I had Zelda and I was rubbish at it because again I was 4. But I think my memory card at one point failed, so I went to buy a second-hand memory card from whatever shop in Birkenhead Market, and somebody had a save on there, and that save became my save, and he was much further than me. So that was positive.
I mean, when I've gone back and played Super Metroid,
Mm-hmm.
and there was parts on that game where I was just like, can't get past that. Even like the section really early on where you got a wall jump, it took me ages when I was younger. So I was like going back to that game and being good at it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is really cool. Mickey Mania was another one where I finished that a few years ago, where you kind of really struggled when I was younger. And it takes maybe like 2 hours, if that, to get through the entire game. It's not difficult, but the difficulty of that game, even as I was older, I was like dying quite a bit on that and losing quite a lot of lives. And I was like, yeah, it still holds up in that way. These games weren't easy.
No, and I think actually some of the games that I've gone back to play now, because games have moved on and stuff, you go back and play all the games and they're even harder because things aren't intuitive. Even stuff like playing on PS2 games now, circle is back intuitively, but back then it was triangle. So like I'm pressing circle to try and go back in menus. No, it's triangle, which doesn't affect the difficulty, but it does kind of annoy me. So it makes me less inclined to carry on playing.
Yeah, like the ergonomics of some of the layouts as well on like modern, like even with Steam Deck, it like takes a while, I think, to replicate how you might have played that game when you were younger.
It doesn't help that on the Steam Deck you can load in all the different community control schemes, and some people might play it differently than you, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to acclimatise now someone else's gammy fingers.
Yeah, trying to figure that part out, it's like the hardest. You just want to play Crazy Taxi normally, and you're like, oh, this is nightmare, it's jarring. But no, I'm enjoying it. I think the first time I ever emulated anything was, like I said, Final Fantasy 8 again, and that was on a modded Vita.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, just because I could have bought it for like £6.
Have you modded your Vita?
Not this one, but I had a modded Vita I got rid of. So that was ages and ages ago. But playing Final Fantasy games and the joy of going, I remember spending like £35 getting this game legitimately from HMV and being like taking it home and wanting to play it. You know, after my cousins had loaned me the PlayStation to play it. And even like Final Fantasy 9, buying that when it came out, 10, buying 12. I remember that in cold hard cash, and being like waiting weeks as well then to go and buy the guide after it, you know, because I've got so much money from my paper round, or I had to like beg, steal and borrow off my parents and do chores to try and get that cash up. So like to have that now and just be able to go like, right, I'm just going to go and emulate that game. Like the novelty of that won't wear off anytime soon. And that's that. I would say that is the fun part, and I think that's probably why we've repeated it quite a few times. But the best part is that kick you get immediately when you start it up.
It's very available, isn't it? Like this, the catalogue of games you can just get. Oh, you know what? I really wanted to play that back when I was a kid. Great.
Smash it straight on. Cool. That's emulation. So if you want to give us your thoughts on emulation, is it ethical? Do you enjoy it for the nostalgia? Do you do it a lot? Any advice or anything we should try that you can think of about emulation? Nothing else. Just drop us a line. So if you go over to casualmode.co.uk, then you can hit the Discord link and it will bring you through to our Discord, which is obvious. So just do that and then we can have a chat about emulation in there. Carl.
Hello.
Talked about things that we've been doing on consoles, but you sold a console.
I did. Yeah.
Tell us about it.
I'm just. I'd like to say I'm a trendsetter in life, but I'm not really. I just follow the herd. And so.
Are you calling me a cow?
You've got the others.
Moo.
Sorry. So
I've got the milkers. Oh dear.
So so you sold yours, I sold mine because I wasn't using it, and Game Passes get a bit stale for my liking. So I sold my Series X for 240 crisp notes.
I was surprised. Like that was only so I had the box with mine, and
you got 256.
What else? So I got slightly more, like barely anything more for packaging and all the other things.
Yeah.
Bolted. Seems a bit silly, but still good though for you. Like, as in,
don't begrudge me the money, then.
We only bought it for $250.
I got it on eBay 2 years ago for $250. So I lost.
That's insane.
£10.
Yeah, £10 for the joy of all those games. But it had just become a FIFA machine. So.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And we've got the PS Pro come in. We both got one. We haven't just bought one together. Like we had to clarify for the guy. In the
shared child.
Yeah. So we got the PS5 Pros coming, and I've just bought a new ultra wide monitor for my PC gaming.
Which one?
I got the Samsung Odyssey G9 95GS or something on an absolute stonker of a deal. So the the RRPs are irrelevant. So you can buy it in most places for like £900. Got it for 680 quid, and it's 49 inches, ultra wide, 32:9 aspect ratio. It's superb. It's so much fun going on Teams calls and saying, "I'll just share my screen," and then they see my screen share, and it's just like a horizontal line.
Confuses the life out of people, doesn't it?
It's like,
So
oh, sorry,
much
I'll just share the individual window for you. Don't worry about it. Sorry, I didn't realise you didn't have a screen. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, sorry. What are you, Pavo? I'm not. But hence why that giant box is behind you there. That's
that box is where it came in. Rather
so
large.
are you tempted now that you've done that? It's kind of because I think your PC's fair few
7
years old.
Yeah.
So tempted to upgrade.
Yeah, my PC isn't good enough to actually use a monitor fully. So this is a 240 hertz panel, and I only have access to 120 hertz because the graphics card's not sufficient. It's a 1080, but it's a bit old. So I need to upgrade.
Speaking of upgrades, so the PS5 Pro is now sold out in the UK.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
The day after we recorded last week, it sold out after we talked about it not selling out.
Yeah. So there we go. We got our words wrong, but we wouldn't have known if the words were wrong because at the time the words were right.
Thank
you.
you.
There you go. Pleasure, mate. Walk through that easy. I'm not really asked about it being sold out. I mean, it could be fabricated anyway. True. In terms of like hype up demand for it. I wouldn't be surprised. Plus,
it's enjoyable though, because like people on Reddit were like, "Oh, it's crap. Oh, it's not going to sell. They've overpriced it." But quite clearly, if it's legitimately has sold out, which apparently it has, then like they haven't mispriced it, and there's demand.
Everything Sony related seems to get that same treatment. Even the poll, it was like, "Well, nobody wants it. Stupid," and it was like, "Oh, it's sold out." And then the same with. No comment. And then with the VR2 as well, it was the same kind of response. It was like, well, these things are going to be popular with groups of early adopters. Just let them have it. Let them enjoy it. Not hurting you. Not bothering you. If you got an Xbox, great.
Yeah.
If you really enjoy Game Pass, that is bully for you. Brilliant. If you want to go and play Master Chief Collection or Grounded or, Sea of Thieves or any of the other games that probably will come to the console at some point in the near future. Great. Yeah, Forza. Like, if you want to enjoy those things, brilliant. Crack on.
By the way, Forza on this monitor, amazing.
Motion blur. Surprised it works on that graphics card you've got. So
how dare you? It's Forza 4, don't worry.
Old. GP udders. Nah, couldn't get it. But anyway, yeah, so, I mean, it's kind of good that the PS5 Pro sold out, but also at the same point, I'm taking it with a pinch of salt. Kind of is what it is. Carl, you bought something else.
I have bought something
a game.
Else. I did. Bought Stellar Blade on eBay for 40 quid. Yeah.
Why? What made you want this game?
The graphics look amazing. It's not for the lady.
Is it getting an update?
It is getting a PS Pro update. Yeah.
Okay.
It's all right on the list, and I thought, oh, okay, well, why don't I pick it up in prep? And I did.
Are you going to hold on to it until you get the Pro?
Yeah.
You're not going to play it?
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant like, am I going to sell it before I get the Pro? And I'm like, that seems a strange thing to do.
That would be quite fun.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'll probably put it in the console, see how it looks, and go, oh yeah, great, yeah.
This does exactly what I thought it would.
And then wait for the PS5 Pro.
Yeah. Well, okay.
You gonna pick it
so
up?
I started a game that isn't so. On the PS5 Pro. So there we go, lovely steelbook for a PC game. So this is the PC version of Metaphor ReFantasio. So reason I got the PC version is it came with the steelbook, which is quite nice.
Well, that's very arty.
Yeah, it's very, very arty. Nice, straightforward on the back.
Nice.
But I wasn't going to pick this game up until maybe a couple of months. But the reviews looked amazing, and when I saw there was a steelbook of it, I do like the steelbooks and collecting them. So I thought,
very nice.
Yeah, I thought I'd pick that up. But I've only played maybe like 20 minutes of it, so I can't really comment. However,
what are your first impressions?
my first impressions are it looks very, very pretty and it's very, very well polished. And the menus that I've been in are the best menus I think I've ever been in.
All right,
genuinely, I'm not even taking the piss.
The best menus.
Yeah, they're the best menus.
They're
You
not
say to
sending
me,
the best
Donald?
menus. We have our best menus.
You said to me, Donald? No. But yeah, like genuinely, the menus, like a load of people have mentioned them anyway, but I'm not going to say anything that's fresh or new about them. They're just very, very, very sharp. So looking forward to playing that
Are
game.
you tempted to pick up the new Dragon Ball Z game?
I'm not really into fighting games, but I'm going to get another game that I bought as well. Hold on.
Oh my god. What are you going to feed your kids when you buy all these games? That's not enough money for food.
No. Well, to be fair, I picked this up a while ago, so this is the super rare version of Shedworks' Sable.
My
So I
favourite
played
wrestler.
this on the Steam Deck. Yeah, not the wrestler. Played this on Steam Deck and really, really enjoyed it. So again, I like getting physical copies of games that come out. That of a game that I actually enjoyed. So
Good.
yeah, I'm going to leave that in the wrapper, and I like that being on my shelf. Just like seeing it. So there you go. That's the other thing that I got.
Oh, so you're not going to open it?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Well, maybe, I don't know. I'm not really precious about it, but I quite like just having it on the shelf. If you played something that was digital only, like Alan Wake 2, I'm looking forward to getting a physical copy of that.
Oh no! Sorry, I've had it confirmed to me. There will not be a physical copy of Alan Wake 2. No
By
chance. The Finnish guy.
Oh, okay.
It was a
Pretty
year
sure
ago.
there will be.
Do you remember a year ago when he ejected?
Yeah, he did. He did say. Yeah, he did say.
Yeah. Unequivocally, there will not be one. He got asked a lot of times by a lot of
did.
people.
He was fibbing, or maybe he's telling the truth at that point, and he just went, you know what, money talks. So get it, and got it. Right. Should we talk about our ACCA?
Oh God, do we have to? That was painful. That.
It was, wasn't it? So we bet on the Nations League, which wasn't ideal. So we put, I think, £5 on, was it, in the end?
A tenner in total.
It was a tenner. So if you don't know the routine, I play for Carl to play football on a Saturday, and he pays for our bet for the day. So we bet on the first bet of the day. So the first match was Lithuania-Kosovo.
Yeah.
We bet for Lithuania.
Yeah.
And who won?
Kosovo 2-1.
Kosovo.
So there we were walking through Birkenhead Market, just like, oh Dan, I'm really sorry. 88 minutes have gone. Kosovo winning 2-1.
Yeah,
Shit.
we can cash out for a penny.
Yeah, great.
So yeah, that was it. That was a bet derailed immediately. But should we bring up this weekend's matches and
Let's.
have a little look?
Let's.
Have
Should we
you got 'em
type
there?
up the add-ons? So if you get them up, I'll start.
You want me to get it up?
You get it up. I know it's difficult at your age, but we can get some medical assistance if you need it.
Okay.
Yes, Joy.
Fixtures. Premier League fixtures. Okay. I don't want to play that. Okay, Saturday, 19th of October. The year of our Lord 2024. So early kickoff, Spurs West Ham.
Big Ange was did an interview saying he was extremely unhappy and he's had 10 days to stew over the 3-2 defeat to Brighton. He's not a happy man, mate. So
I'm just fucking really let down. I just can't cope with it. No, I'm gonna take a bit of time.
The fucking shit.
Shit, it's done up. Yeah, so I reckon Spurs. I agree. They're going to bounce back. I think on that one. Live on TNT Sports, Spuds for the win. 3 p.m. kickoffs, of which there are 4.
Ooh.
5. Fulham versus Villa.
Villa.
Yep. Ipswich versus Everton.
Everton.
Yeah, probably got to go for the F. United versus Brentford.
Brentford.
Ooh, I don't know,
Hiya, Phil. You still listening?
Yeah, sorry, Phil. I would go for United for that.
Oh my God.
They've got rid of Fergie, haven't they? So
I've already got a plan, to be honest, anyway, because you're going to say Chelsea and I'm going to say Liverpool, so I'm going to put 2 bets on, and you do Chelsea, I'll go Liverpool. Yeah.
Tricky one, Newcastle Brighton.
Ooh.
I know, but I would say Newcastle because they're at home.
Can we go back and say a draw for United Brentford?
Yes, happy with that.
You're going Newcastle. Okay.
I would go Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Howie, Southampton, Leicester.
Ooh.
I mean, Leicester's not been great
Neither of Southampton.
And Southampton haven't been great either. What's the table at the moment? Let's have a look. So Southampton are in the bottom 3. Leicester on 6 points there. Southampton are on 1. Southampton have got a -11 goal difference. Leicester are -3.
Should we go for Leicester?
Yeah, I think so. We haven't got to.
Jamie Varney's having a party.
And then the 5:30 kickoff is Bournemouth at home to Arsenal. Bournemouth are 13th at the moment.
Okay.
And last match was a loss against Leicester.
I don't want to put Arsenal. We'll put Arsenal.
No particular one. Okay, Sunday matches. We got Wolves versus City.
Okay, next one.
City. And then 4:30, Bin Dippers versus the mighty Chelsea FC.
Liverpool 4-0.
I don't think it'll be 4-0.
What do you want me to do? Well, I normally do 2 bets of a fiver, so if...
It's got draw written all over it, if I'm
Nah.
brutally honest.
If Liverpool are at home, I can't see that being a draw. I just think we're going to absolutely rinse you. We're going to show you where the exit is.
If you want to go for it, you go for it. It's fine. But just to repeat on form, so
Show them
Liverpool
the
are
way
currently
to go
top,
home.
3 wins on the bounce. Chelsea haven't lost in the last 5. Liverpool have. We drew against Forest, who you conveniently lost against at home. So, yeah, I'd say Anfield's a fortress. However, I can't knock back the Chelsea. So
Okay,
split that bet.
For confirmation, so you want me to do 1 bet with Liverpool, 1 bet with Chelsea?
Yes.
So you don't want to do a draw and hedge your bets?
We can do 3 if you want and do £2.50 on each one.
I'm not made of money. No, okay.
Well, that's why I said £2.50 on each.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
There we go. Who knew that we'd pick a different side there?
I think Mudrik's due a goal, so I think he'll score.
I'm surprised.
Not first.
To be fair, if United are selling Anthony, I'm surprised that you're not selling Mudkip.
I haven't seen that they're selling him yet.
Who, Anthony?
I know Mudrik nearly went in the summer. So
Same way.
okay. So that is everything that we wanted to get. I wrote something in.
For the benefit of those listening and not seeing the Google Docs form, Dan just wrote Carl's dad.
For no reason. Anything else you want to talk about? You've gone through your nerdy stuff this week already with emulation. So
my deal of the week, which is this sexy monitor.
yeah,
It's
It
now
was
expired,
cheap,
that
to be
deal.
fair.
Sorry about that.
yeah. It went immediately up the next
The
morning.
next day, yeah.
Yeah, back to 1,300 quid, wasn't it?
Was it? Oh
Yeah,
no.
it's 600 quid off, something like that. 500
Insane,
quid.
isn't it? It's insane.
Wow.
It's so nice. It's so nice. But it
Very
just creates more problems for me. I'm gonna have to buy a new PC, as you said.
You have to.
So-
You've put yourself in an impossible situation now where you need to upgrade,
Oh no.
and then hope that the PS6 has some sort of ultra widescreen support
It
on
won't.
it, because that would be very nice.
It won't,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
no, you keep saying that. We've been casual mode. There's nothing else that Carl wants to talk about. If you join us every Friday on YouTube and Spotify, there is plenty to come in the next couple of weeks, because we have EGX a week on Friday. We're recording this on the Wednesday evening, 16th of October.
We're going on Friday.
We travelled down on the Saturday morning, actually.
Oh,
so
okay.
apologies.
I should have to take a day off work then.
Apologies. But obviously EGX does start on a Thursday through to the Sunday. So we'll be there on the Saturday and Sunday. If you are going, just drop us a message. Like I said, drop us a note on Twitter, or just pop into the Discord. So go to casualmode.co.uk, hit the links in there. If you wouldn't mind as well, some absolute rotter out there decided that they'd vote us down on Spotify, and for some reason aggregated us down to like 3.7. Luckily, we've got some good friends that gave us a couple of nice reviews. I think legitimate reviews as well, by the way, not just because they want to do us a favour, but legitimate review.
But
But that as well. If you wouldn't mind, if you would please kindly subscribe on YouTube, maybe give us a little thumbs up on the video, and then on top of that, if you wouldn't mind going over to Spotify or any other podcast service that you use that the podcast comes through on, and giving us a little review on there as well, that would be appreciated. Any feedback is welcome, but please direct it to Carl, because I've got a fragile ego. Okay, keep it casual. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.